Hey guys, Classic with another Artifact video. Today I want to talk about 5 reasons to be hyped for Artifact. As you guys know, I've been extremely hyped for the games since like months ago, and while waiting for it to release, I just want to share 5 reasons as to why I am personally super excited. It can be easy to say, oh, it's just going to be a Hearthstone copy, or why the fuck is it not Half-Life 3? But I'm going to give you 5 reasons as to why you should care about it. First of all, the universe is fantastic. Dota 2 has been out for years now, and it has a lot of backstory, a lot of lore already present that Artifact can simply tap in. Not only can they tap into that fantastic universe, they can also create stuff. Since the universe is like, fantasy broad genre, they can basically go any ways, almost kind of like Hearthstone, who started really close to Warcraft and then kind of branched out on some legendary or heroes and stuff like that. They kind of branched out, created their own story. Well, it's certainly doable with Artifact. And I really like when games are based off others, because then you can have new heroes in Dota 2 that are going to be implemented in Artifact and vice versa, which creates a really interesting dynamic. It also allows to expand on already present lore, trying to go deeper in certain relationships, trying to hear backstories about Roshan or about the secret shop or stuff like that. The little aspects. It's so hard to convey stories or ideas through a MOBA. Like in game, it's going to be very difficult. Even though you can do some stuff, it's not as close as to a card game where you can not only speak with the art, but there's also flavor text. And from what we've seen, Artifact really doesn't shy away from a long chunk of lores for cards. The second reason is Valve. When's the last time Valve made a bad game? They made Half-Life, they made Portal, they still are running Dota, they are running Counter-Strike. Like, god damn, that's a great track record. How can you not at least have faith that their game is probably going to be better than the average game in the industry? Like, at least I feel like they have the resume for you to at least trust them. Not only do they have a good track record of games, but they also have a good track record of how do you monetize a game. Just look at Dota 2, where every hero is free, and then you can have nice ways of monetization that are not pay to win and that are super interesting. That gives me kind of hope, because card games tend to be extremely pay to win. Just look at Magic, where if you don't have, that play set that costs 400, then your deck is suboptimal, and if you go to tournaments, you're gonna get clapped. Same thing for Hearthstone. You need 4 tier 1 decks to compete, and if you don't have them, it's going to be difficult. And having 4 tier 1 decks in Hearthstone, that so-called free-to-play game, is either going to be thousands of hours or hundreds of dollars. In that regard, I have just a bit of hope that it might be a tad cheaper. Then we have the color concept. I know they didn't invent having different colors in card games. Magic has done it for a long time. The problem, though, is Magic operates with lands. And I like the concept of lands in theory, but like when you play them, it can be extremely frustrating. You have a red and black deck, and you only draw mountains, the red lands, then you can never play your black cards. That is extremely frustrating, and you'll get screwed. Being mana screwed is just so annoying. In Artifact, with how deployment works, you will always be able to play your cards, or almost always. I also prefer the color concept to Hearthstone's class system, because now the flexibility of choices are on the players. Will you go for a 4-color deck, a 3-color, a duo color? It's up to you. If it's going to be bad, well, at least you made the decision, and to me that's extremely valuable. It sucks to not be able to try some things in Hearthstone because you're locked with the classes. Also, when it comes to design, I feel like designing with colors is a bit easier to manage balance than going for classes where especially in Hearthstone, because you can get random cards from other classes and then it makes for completely broken combos. It's just a weird system that I've never been too much of a fan of. I really feel like it's a great in-between from Hearthstone and Magic, because you will have the same flexibility in deck building than you do in Magic, but it's going to be similar to Hearthstone in the case that when you have the cards, you will be able to actually play them. The fourth one is something we don't know a lot about, but they really want to focus on the social aspect of the game. How many times have we Hearthstone players told Blizzard it would be great if we had more social features? What are they now? Like, we have a quest for like questing together with a friend, and that's pretty much it. Like, it sucks, honestly. It really sucks. And having that as a focus, as a priority in your game for card games, I think is extremely valuable. What I loved about Magic was playing with my friends. I could not afford like the really tier 1 decks to compete and be really good. So what we would do is my friends and I, we would put like a budget, and we would all make our decks and then play together. That way you don't get crushed by the tier 1 decks in FNMs and stuff like that. You can really just deal together and implement rules together and just have some fun. Kitchen table Magic was like my shit. I loved it. It's something that you cannot do in Hearthstone due to the fact that you play on a ladder. People are always going to try hard. Even when you're low rank, people have meta decks, so it makes it super hard to brew fun things. I really hope they focus on it, and I'm also biased because I'm a streamer and a YouTuber. Having community features is extremely important to me. I want to run weekly tournaments. I want to run tournaments where you can only play a monocolor, or, you know, dumb rules like that, and have some fun that way in game. I don't have to, you know, go through third-party websites and having to manage a shit ton of things to make sure that it actually works. I'm really happy that it's going to be in there. I would also even count, you know, tournament features and social aspect, because if it's easy to run in-game tournaments, oh my god, is it going to be awesome. The last aspect is not the least, and it's probably the most obvious one. It's the 3 lanes. I know it's been talked a lot, but really 3 lanes is really not like playing 3 games of Hearthstone. I've heard that, and it kind of pisses me off, where people say, oh, it's only going to be like 3 games of Hearthstone at the same time. That's severely underestimating like what's happening. The fact that you have only one hand for all 3 boards changes everything. And you only draw 2 cards per turn, therefore you cannot even play 1 card per lane on average. You can also get items and draw some more, but you get my point. The fact that every decision that you make is, do I want to invest resource in that lane, or do I want to invest it later in my lane 2 or 3? The fact that you play it here means that you sacrifice something somewhere else. That's just an aspect that's not there in Hearthstone. If you have a good minion, if you have Ragnaros on 8, you slap it on 8, like in far majority of the cases. You don't even have to think about anything else more often than not, because you only have one thing to care about, and it's that board state. Now, having to care about 3 at the same time with only one hand, the same one, I think it's really the key part. Is like you don't have a hand for each lane, because that would have been really bad. And like every time you're gonna play something, you have to ask yourself, do I want to invest in that lane or not? And that makes it the way so there's no like small decision. Everything you're going to do is going to affect the grand scheme of things, and it's not going to be so much about always play on curve every time. It's going to be really unique, and I cannot wait to play it for hours and hours and hours and hours. Thank you for listening to this short vid. I hope that might explain why I'm excited about Artifact. What are you waiting for though? I'm really curious as to what are your reasons to play it. If you like Artifact content, please subscribe and have a wonderful weekend.